With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God, keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.
Hello!
Hello!
Braden Harrington here with Davie Portman for upNXT, the YouTube, the podcast, however you're seeing this. Hello, welcome, happy Canada Day.
Happy Canada Day!
Happy Canada
How are
Day.
we all doing in the YouTube room
Yes.
tonight?
How are we doing? It was the Great American Bash, but you see tonight is the Great Canadian Bash.
It's the Great Canadian
Yes.
Bash.
We got everything Canadian.
We've got our Maple Leaf flag up. We've got Bret the Hitman Hart. We've got
Yes.
Jericho, Omega, Edge, Natty, Bret again, Kenny.
all the Bretts.
All the Bret and the Undertaker at the end there.
See, Bret Hart is he's not Canadian.
Hey, he could be.
Could be.
He's a dead man.
Brock is Canadian, but we don't have any Brock things. So, yeah. Welcome. Yes, welcome to the room. Welcome to our YouTube. Hello, people. We're going to start recording some upNXT. We're going to talk about Canada. We're going to talk about Independence Day, the 4th of July. This is the Great American Bash Part 1. People are in the room are, Miles in the room says the dispensary just opened up near his house. So he's celebrating that today.
Oh,
That's what he's
okay.
celebrating. Ketchup chips? Yeah, we got them, fam. We got them. We got them, definitely. I'm going to drink out of my Sasha Banks cup.
We've got Caesars going right now. Or maybe we'll talk about that on the show. But yeah, you're drinking out Sasha. I'm drinking out of EO.
Did you have any Big Turk? No, we haven't had any Big Turk. I have in my life. the candy bar. I guess we'll start talking. We'll start recording some things. Let me make sure we sound good. Do we look good? Where's Eric Marcotte? Did he already give us our thumbs up? That's when we know we can start the show.
Yeah, he might have got scared from our false start.
He was like, I'm out. I'm done. He probably left us.
Camera flickering a little.
The
Okay.
camera is flickering. That means it's
Let me
Canada
just
Day.
unplug it and plug it back in.
Eric Marcotte says we're all right. I'm wearing flannel. I'm feeling real Canadian today.
Go into...
Benjamin Kogel, what up, Benjamin? He says we're looking like 2 bottles of fine wine. Yeah, we're not doing a wine Wednesday, are we? We're coming back.
There we go. Hopefully that'll stop. I think I've got one USB port, which is a little wonky.
We're back. We're back. All right. So we're gonna start recording upNXT. And if you're here in the YouTube room, welcome. Any Canadians in the room? Happy Canada Day. And you learned what $2 Chuck is. I don't know what that is.
Oh, yeah. This was all on Rewinder Raw this week.
What's a buck chuck?
$2 Chuck. Apparently, it's some shitty wine from Trader Joe's for like $2.
Oh, Trader Joe's is nice.
And John suggested that sounds like something Braden Harrington would mix with White Claw. And then he went on about how he went to an LCBO and wanted to try White Claw, but they were out.
Oh.
And then was too nervous to ask if they had any, so just left.
Damn. Yeah, that sounds like a John Pollock thing to do.
What is it? It's not a Blue Hawaiian, but White Claws are good.
Oh, yeah, he loves his fucking... Where did he order that?
If you haven't got like a really good bottle of bourbon, I'll just take the blue Hawaiian.
Oh my god. Yeah. Yo, a blue Hawaiian with bourbon though is fire. Yes, I'm rocking the McFoley flannel. It's Canada.
And you've
Canada.
got the... You're also rocking Oney Lorcan and Timothy Thatcher, because look at that chest hair going on right
the
now.
taco meat is out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, mine's
sure.
poking out. Mine's real taco meat there, right?
Yeah,
Like,
you got the Austin
spilling.
Powers. Yeah. Letter Kenny. Yeah, that's what I'm going for. You're right. So we're going to start recording up next. If you got to dip out, thank you for joining us. But you can find the podcast wherever you find your podcasts. Be nice, write us reviews, subscribe, all that stuff. But yeah.
And always, like, keep the chat going while we're recording, because we do check in and we sometimes steal your jokes or your thoughts.
Definitely.
So, yeah, keep up to date with us.
Yes, Penelope Ford has a Twitch now. I'll be on that after, Paul. Thank you for the update. Here we go. Let's do this. As soon as I can hear my landlord moving a garbage bin right outside our door. As soon as... Okay, she's gone. All right. We're good. Cameron Grimes time. You're right. Here we go. Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Braden Harrington here with Davie Portman for Up Next, postwrestling.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, and where else can they find us, Davie?
Every Wednesday night at 10:30 Eastern Time, youtube.com/upNXT.
Yes, we are your NXT friends. Friends. And Wednesday nights are for the boys, if you will. And today is a special day. Not only is it NXT, the Great American Bash, but tonight, right now, is Canada Day.
Oh, Canada!
Oh, Canada. So, the Braden and Davie experience, the BDE, we would like to not welcome you. Yeah, I guess, definitely welcome you. We're changing the name of the show.
Yep.
It's not a
Done.
Great American
Changed.
Bash. It's the Great Canadian Bash.
Oh, yes, and aren't we celebrating right now?
Yes, we are. My day consisted of riding on the bike downtown Toronto, listening to The Hip, some Red Rider, some Rush, some all that stuff. Everyone, some BNL. We're drinking some Caesars. You made some Caesars.
We are. We've got some spicy Caesars.
Americans might think these are weird because it's like...
I mean, most of the world think these are kind of weird, to be honest.
They're great though, right?
Yeah.
We got ketchup chips.
Well, let's explain what a Caesar is for people that don't know.
A Caesar is like a Bloody Mary, so like tomato juice and I guess vodka. But Canadians, for some strange reason, like to put like... It's called Clamato juice, so it's like tomato juice with a little bit of clam juice in there. A lot of people just went, ew. But it's so good.
It's delightful.
It sounds
Salty,
crazy, but so good.
Wonderful goodness.
Yes, it's a Canadian like iconic drink.
You see, John and Way thought we'd be drinking Molson Canadians today.
Right? Yeah. Way told me. I told Way we were doing a Great Canadian Bash, and he's like, "Oh, I expect you to not be drinking White Claws and to be drinking Molson." Which, hey, Molson Canadian, great beer. But we're drinking some Caesars and some White Claws and some good old H2O.
Yep.
You always gotta stay hydrated. But yes, it's Canada Day. Take off, you hoser. So we will be talking about the Great American Bash, but it is Canada Day. Now, you are a Brit who has moved to Canada, and you've learned about so many great things.
Oh, yes.
Since being here. Tonight, our Wednesday night NXT meals, we kind of just gave up on naming things because it was really hard, but it was Canada Day, and it was my turn, so I decided to make poutine. Mm-hmm. I got actual cheese curds. I got St. Hubert's bacon gravy for poutine. It was amazing. And then I made Canadian back bacon on a bun.
Very nice.
We just killed it. We didn't eat that salad. I brought salad and we didn't eat that.
Yeah.
So we'll just...
The Garganos will be disappointed in us. But it's Canada Day.
Yeah, we're celebrating.
Calories don't count on Canada Day.
They don't.
Fact.
Yeah, exactly. So we're just doing all the Canadian things. So you've moved here years ago, and you're a citizen, not you're
a resident.
You're resident. Yeah, right. So what do you like about Canada, and what's going on with Canada? What are your thoughts here?
I like that at least in this city we seem to be taking the coronavirus pretty seriously. I'd say. Right. I'm pretty proud about that. I think we're doing a pretty good job. Certainly compared to how it would be if I was living back home. So I'm proud about that.
Okay.
But let's not get too political today. But yeah, I'm proud about that. Wear your mask. I'm proud about Caesars.
I'm proud about Caesars.
They're pretty
too.
good. I'm proud about What else do I like?
Yeah. Who's your favorite
I
Canadian?
got into whiskey since moving here. Favorite
Wow.
Canadians, not Bryan Adams.
Oh, I was listening to a lot of Bryan Adams today. I don't want to get into it, but I low key was banging some
Not
Bryan
Bryan Adams. I'm proud of Avril Lavigne.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
true. She's a great Canadian.
She's a
John
great Canadian.
Candy.
John Candy.
Great
Proud of
Canadian.
him.
We went to John Away's thing at the John Candy Box Theater.
John Candy.
That was amazing.
Box Theater.
Yeah.
Proud of Michael Myers. Mike
Yeah,
Myers.
Mike Myers. Yeah,
Yeah.
Michael Myers is
Both of
not-
them. I'm proud of both
I don't
of
think
them.
Michael Myers is Canadian, but he's
He
killing
could
it.
be. I'm proud of... Who else am I proud of?
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen.
He's
I'm proud of
Canadian.
him. All the Ryans. Ryan Gosling. Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, Canadians.
Yeah.
Wow.
My
that's-
mate Ryan. Proud of him.
He's Canadian too.
Proud of
Yeah. Bret Hart.
Mr. 4 out of 10, Bret the Hitman Hart.
What do I tell you all the time? That we do not say Scorpion Deathlock in this fucking house. If you come into this house and you speak Scorpion Deathlock, when you try to take your license to become a Canadian, like your citizenship, your test, you have pictures and you're supposed to say what they are. So it points to someone. They're like, "Who is that?" And you go, "Shania Twain." That's correct. And then they show you a move of a guy putting a guy in this leg submission hold, and then they say, "What is that?" And if you don't say sharpshooter, you're kicked out of the fucking
kicked out.
country. Yeah. You are Canadian now. I
What
guess.
else are we proud of?
Yeah, I'm proud of all sorts of Canadian. Drake. I'm just proud of Drake.
Sure.
Yeah.
The Weekend.
The Weeknd is my.
I'm more proud of him.
Yeah, he just donated a shit ton of money to Scarborough, which is like Toronto's a little sister borough here, to like the COVID and hospitals and stuff like that. He's he's my favorite Canadian artist. But man, Canadians are great.
I'm proud of the Toronto Raptors for extending this NBA
2-year
championship.
champs, baby.
Yeah.
2-year champs. Yeah, a year ago we were at the parade here and
Got very burnt.
yeah, we did. That's what I did today. I was listening to some Bryan Adams and just got a tan on while drinking in the backyard and smoking that legal Canadian weed here in Toronto.
Proud of that.
Yeah, I'm proud of that too. It's fantastic. So yeah, someone in the chat on YouTube, because we are live on Wednesday nights, is saying, "What's the most Canadian thing you've ever done?" This is up there. I mean,
Most Canadian thing today, probably these Caesars,
Yeah.
to be honest. I mean, I was working earlier today. I was the only person at work representing Canada, wearing
Wow.
red,
Okay.
wearing my Canadian hat, my new one from Roots. I'm proud of Roots. We don't have Roots back home. Roots
Wow,
is...
you like Roots?
I like Roots.
Yeah, it's nice.
Most Canadian thing I've done. I remember when my mum was over, we went to Snakes and Lattes. It's like a
Game
back in the
board-
day when you
board
could
game.
sit inside a place and
Right,
order a beverage and food and play board games with many people around you.
right.
Back in those days,
Yeah.
took my mum to one of them with our friend, and as we walked out, I just went, "Oh, mum, what's the poutine?" There was like some spilled poutine on the floor, and I was like, a year ago or whatever, like that wouldn't be a thing.
Right.
And now it's like, "Oh, mum, just watch the poutine."
Watch that poutine over there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm saying A more
Oh, you
these
say,
days.
take off, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, eh? Going out for a rip, eh? You know, I'm thankful for Letterkenny. That's how people see Canadians these days. A lot of the wrestlers watch Letterkenny, and I'm wearing flannel.
I'm proud of Letterkenny.
Yeah, exactly. I'm wearing my flannel. I'm wearing a Jays hat. You're wearing a Raptor shirt. We're just representing. That's what we're doing for the
We're representing.
Great Canadian Bash. I
Yes.
like the Great Canadian Bagel. Why
Oh,
not?
I love a bagel.
Yeah, why not?
I'm all
you know?
about a bagel.
Yeah. So we're just super Canadian today.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. So maybe next week we'll be super American because it's Great American Bash Part 2 next week on NXT.
So, yeah, we are. But
So-
from this point forward, tonight we'll only be talking about Canadian wrestlers. So it's going to be a lot about Aaliyah,
yeah, because that's pretty.
and I think that's it.
Tyler Breeze. Who else is?
Oh, Tyler
Canadian
Breeze
on the-
came out,
Who else
yeah.
is on the roster?
I think that's it
Canadian?
today, right?
What? Really?
Today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn.
So it's going to be a quick show.
I mean, I would say who's your favorite? We have Canadian wrestlers. Bret Hart, obviously. We have Edge here in our set. We got Kenny, Jericho. Those are the ones that come to mind. Steen is another one.
Roddy Piper,
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. There's so many.
Kyle O'Reilly,
Yeah, exactly. He was
And-
not on the show tonight.
as the chat room's saying right now, Aaliyah the GOAT.
Of course, that's right. Aaliyah, the chick from the Six. Yeah, so it was the Great American Bash, which it's their counter programming to
Yes.
Fyter Fest. AEW, they announced this 2-week kind of free pay-per-view on TV called Fyter Fest. They stack it with 2 nights, 2 weeks. So NXT counteracts that with the Great American Bash. And tonight was one of the first ones. Now, again, right before we kind of get into that, we do AEW reviews every Thursday on our Patreon, patreon.com/upNXT. And we compare like both shows on Wednesday nights. And AEW's been killing it as well. And so definitely check that out because people probably just think we do NXT, but we do that as well. So we will be doing Fyter Fest these next 2 weeks on there as well. But to quickly promote our Patreon, we had a crazy week last week with a best match ever, best of the Super Juniors. Because we didn't get one this year, we decided to go back and watch 10 years of the finals, including so many classic dudes. Kyle O'Reilly was in that.
Yep.
Finn Balor was in that. Kushida was in that. Lots of Will Ospreay.
Ricochet, Ospreay,
So many.
Shingo.
So that was an awesome show. We listed a bunch of matches. We go back and we watch and rate them. Then we did another Japanese show with W.H. Park from Post Perez. I said it right that time.
Yep.
We did New Japan Wrestling movie starring Hiroshi Tanahashi. My dad is a heel wrestler, which was so much fun to do with W.H. Park. We got to see Okada as Dragon George, and I won't say anything more than that.
Oh, Dragon George.
Dragon George, greatest wrestler of all time. But then it's now the first of the month, which means a whole new month of Patreon. If you sign up for North American Championship, you get all the backlogs of shows, including all the best matches ever. We did a best of Stan Hansen, John Pollock, best of Backlash, so many things.
I think there's around like 135 shows.
So many shows.
to
Bloodsport we just did a few weeks ago.
Yep.
So many things. But because Extreme Rules, the horror show, I don't understand it.
Right.
That's coming out this month. We decided we're going to do a watch along with that and a post show for that. And we're going to do a best match ever with a guest, Nate Milton, who's going to be coming on with his best match ever selection. Is it Mike Awesome versus Tanaka?
Yes.
Yeah, which is crazy.
One of the like ECW classics, but
Yeah.
I believe they fought kind of all over the world. So that's going to be like a lot of fun. And just
Yeah.
happened, started reaching out. We had John as a guest recently, and we thought
Stan Hansen, yeah.
it's kind of cool to have guests for this show. So we're trying to do like one a month with a guest where they pick the match. And what a month to choose this.
Yeah, and quickly before we kind of get into that, Nate Milton is also going to be joining me on Tuesday because on the free feed where you're listening to this right now, I'm going to be reviewing Hamilton.
Awesome.
The musical.
Yes.
The Disney musical that's out on Disney+. That's coming out, and I thought it would be a lot of fun. So me and Nate are going to be doing that, again, for free on this very feed Tuesday. But back to the Patreon, we have so much extreme things. We're doing a top 5 extreme moments. We're doing a best match ever, Terry Funk. We're doing Death Race 2000. We're doing some extreme shit.
We're going to be looking at Anarchy Rules 1999.
Oh.
We figured there's Extreme Rules. Why
Yeah.
not have Anarchy Rules?
Exactly.
It's rated as one of the best ECW pay-per-views ever. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
We're also going to be looking at some Lucha Underground at the end of the month. So a really packed month with a lot of variety, but keeping it extreme.
Yeah, so we're going to get really extreme. And then later in the month, I mentioned the best match ever. I picked one because I thought we had so much fun with Stan Hansen. We're going to be doing best match ever, Terry Funk, who had an epic match with Ric Flair at the Great American Bash. Is what we're kind of tying into what we're talking
And it was
about.
his birthday yesterday.
And it was just
so
his birthday.
it
How
all
old
comes
is this
around.
guy?
76.
Dude.
And probably still not retired.
Still doing moonsaults off ladders and
Yeah.
shit. Just crazy. We also have a Twitter, @UpNXT Podcast, and a Facebook page and Facebook group, like a community. John Sino, our social media director, and our buddy runs all that stuff, and it's been super great. Join the community on the Facebook page. And we will be doing a watch along for Extreme Rules. And we've been doing this like brackets for our New Japan Cup. WH Park is losing.
Well, yeah.
It's just a great time to be alive.
Let me give some of the standings right now. So
Let's do top 3.
We've had round 2 has just finished in the New Japan Cup, and our very own post wrestling, post Perez presenter, master and knower of all things Japanese wrestling, WH Park, is in last place.
Of course.
Didn't get anything in the second round in Group B, correct?
Yeah,
I
story
believe.
of his life.
Last place with 15 points. Just ahead of him was Matt Gesk. Top 3 places we have in third place with 24 points. We have Nicholas De Silva, Hugh Saunders, and Jalen Thomas. We have in second place with 25 points Kevin Swenke, Roger D. Alman, Russell Wilkinson, and Sunil Khan. And in first place with 26 points, we have Richard Smith, who's our current leader. apparently one match from today had 0% of correct points. So no one got it right.
Amazing.
The only exception of Benjamin, David, everybody's Group A picks are still alive, but Benjamin and David are still out. Yeah, lots of interesting stuff there.
Yes.
Only one show since last week's, but now we're coming to the semis, and we'll soon have
down.
our finalists. It's
Big
getting
Tom.
very exciting.
Big Tom Ishii's gonna win the whole thing. That's what we have. But I can't wait to see what happens. I can't wait for like the finals, like kind of like getting closer to some of the meat of the tournament, because New Japan Wrestling is so much fun to watch.
And once the whole tournament is done, we will be doing a kind of sort of best match ever show of this cup, putting out for free on our free feed, where we'll be looking at the top 5 matches of the tournament.
Yes, so we're super excited. So yeah, go check us out. Patreon.com/upNXT. $5 gets you all that stuff we just mentioned and all the past shows to be a North American champion patron. And yeah, we're having so much fun. And this schedule that we put together with this extreme theme is going to be pretty fun to do, and I'm excited. So thanks to everyone who listens to this show, and thanks to everyone who is a Patreon patron, because we just love doing this stuff, and we love talking about wrestling, and we like to bash. We like to be a great American bash. It is the Great Canadian Bash here. We were listening to Alanis Morissette right before we clicked the record button. But now we're going to talk about the Great American Bash. But next week we'll get some American. We need some advice to be American next week. What are we going to our set's going to just have guns all over the place, I guess. I don't know. So the Great American Bash, Wednesday, July 1st. We have a video with classic Great American Bash like matches, including Dusty and Flair and Terry Funk and all the stuff, and we get to see the set here tonight with these beautiful cars. A Viper, they said. I'm not a car guy. So,
I don't know my cars.
Yeah,
Some nice
sorry.
cars, probably American.
Sorry, yeah. Hopefully it was American. There's pyro. It's looking super American. It looks great. And they tell us that tonight will be a limited commercial event.
Yeah.
Wow, that's it. We start off with the number 1 contenders match for the women's championship here, a 4-way elimination style match. Dakota Kai, Tegan Nox, Mia Yim, and Candice LeRae. Now, how do we feel about Candice LeRae's heel music? It's like released now on all the platforms.
I need to listen to it properly now. It's on YouTube. I'm still not connected with me yet. Same with Johnny Gargano's. I'll need to listen to it a few more times.
It'll grow on you.
But to be honest, her old one didn't register with me either.
Right.
So
that's true. It was okay. Candice LeRae starts to just kind of mess around with Tegan, and then is like, "Oh, I'm just kidding." And Yim goes for a cannonball but misses it. Dakota gets dumped onto the apron like this, like almost like a DDT from Candice. Just looked crazy awkward. And then LeRae does like a back dive onto Tegan Nox onto the outside. There's then Candice with this German suplex off the second rope on Mia Yim for a 2 count. There's Dakota with haluva kicks, Yim with face washes, and everyone gangs up on LeRae, and she's eliminated early on in this match. I blinked, and she was gone.
yeah, eat defeat from Mia Yim, 1, 2, 3, or protect your neck.
Soul
or
food.
Same thing.
So, I literally was like, what? Anything can happen in WWE. Dakota Kai now beats down on Mia Yim, and she does like almost like the Muda lock, but then Yim gets a guillotine on Dakota. There's a commercial break with P&P, and they tell me that I should go to Papa John's and get the Shaq extra pepperoni pizza special. And
They were telling us all night.
I don't know what the Shaq pepperoni special is, but fuck Papa John. So that's that. We come back, and there's cannonballs in the corner. Dakota's getting cannonballs from Tegan, from Mia Yim. Tegan goes for the chokeslam on Yim, but she blocks it and just punches her. And there's then like getting thrown, jumps into like the ropes almost from Mia Yim, like gets thrown. Dakota hits this like hip toss into a sit out like Michinoku driver, just looked great. Yim has a dragon suplex. There's Rana's. There's so much going on here. Code Blue, eat defeat. There's an O'Connor roll on Yim from Kai, and Yim gets eliminated. So the O'Connor roll.
Oh, she was just so surprised that she kept her shoulders down for 3 seconds.
Yes, it's just that's how the
so
O'Connor roll
surprising,
works.
Yeah.
There's now back and forth strikes from Kai and Tegan. Obviously, they have history and they hate each other. Tegan hits a cannonball again, but this is like to the face and jaw of Dakota Kai. Look nasty. Nox then with this like beautiful bridging fall away slam, kind of like Hangman Page kind of does. Looks great. Kai hits the chiropractor, but it's a 2 count. Tegan fights back with like this face first kind of Falcon Arrow type move. But then there's some submission. She gets out of that. There's a Molly go round. The shiniest wizard. And in an upset, I would say, Tegan Nox pins Dakota Kai. Tegan Nox is the #1 contender to the NXT Women's Championship.
Yeah, I didn't think this was very good.
This was just so much going on that it was kind of messy. I liked it. There was a lot of stuff in it I liked, but messy.
Remember years ago, like, I mean, it still happens, but you'd have it's Survivor Series and they just shove a Divas match and you'll have like all your divas who can't really wrestle and it would start and it would just be roll up, roll up, roll up.
Right.
This is kind of how it felt like
Except
at the beginning for me.
These are all great wrestlers.
Yeah, like Candice LeRae, as you said, blink and you'll miss it, just seemed to go right away. Mia Yim just rolled up with an O'Connor roll and done. And it, like, there was some cool spots, but I didn't think there was any flow in this match. At the beginning, Tegan and Tegan and Dakota?
Yeah.
Just kind of literally stood and watched Mia Yim and Candice LeRae wrestle.
Just watching.
They were just
Enjoying
watching.
Competition. The graps.
I didn't like... I think this would have been a better match if it was just one fall to a finish. I thought it would have been a more exciting match, but I think what they wanted to do was kind of close the chapter on that Tegan Nox, Dakota Kai story with having Tegan finally beating her at a big occasion, and now she's moving on to a different feud. But I thought this was kind of sloppy at points, no flow, no drama. I was really disappointed because I thought this would be a really great opener.
I know what you're saying, because to me it was just like kind of all over the place. It was just so confusing, and the eliminations kind of came out of nowhere. I think it shouldn't have been an elimination match either. I don't know why. It should have just came down to Dakota and Tegan if that was the case of what they were going with. But there was some stuff in this that was really cool, with all of them hitting like their signature moves and some really cool, innovative stuff. And it just made... I was really upset that Candice was the first eliminated, because I'm like, Candice is kind of... I don't know.
So easy.
Yeah,
like both of the first eliminations. Like we've seen Mia Yim have a ladder smack her in the face and break her nose and be bleeding everywhere.
Yeah.
And still fight. Yeah. A fucking roll up pins her. We've seen Candice LeRae have our favourite women's match of 2019 and just done. Like, Mia Yim was just too strong for me. I thought this sucked, and there were cool spots, but I don't want to see just setting up for a spot. I need to see like a proper, like, the spot being a payoff for something. This was just setting up. As I said, two of the women were literally stood watching the two go at it.
I find it weird because Tegan Nox now is going to challenge Io Shirai when everyone thought it was going to be Dakota, so they probably changed that direction just to not be so forward with that. But Dakota Kai would make the most sense, but Tegan Nox sounds great too.
Like, I don't know. That's not necessarily going to be the SummerSlam match. That could be on TV in 2 weeks, and that could be setting up a different match for Io and a different match for Dakota, for Tegan. I mean, but yeah, I thought this would be the first match of the show. I thought it would be a really hot match to start with. I found it disappointing.
I didn't hate it, but it definitely didn't like blow me away. It was kind of all over the place. But I'm interested in seeing Tegan Nox versus Io Shirai.
Yeah,
I think
should
that
be
could be
good.
a lot of fun. This, you know what it was lacking? This match was lacking? Shotzi Blackheart.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, it would have been the same. It would have just been
It shouldn't have been elimination.
It was,
Shouldn't
it
be
was messy.
We go to Oney Lorcan versus Timothy Thatcher. Yes, this is a match that takes place at the Great American Bash. Now, Thatcher is the school of Hard Knocks. Thatch can. Thatch.
Catch as catch can.
Catch can. Oney and Thatcher just like shoot here. It's really awesome that they just go back and forth. Thatcher like lifts Oney from like this hold, and Oney counters that into a counter. There's counters and counters and counters. Thatcher early on mounts Oney and just starts going off on him. Locks in the double wrist lock, which he taught us in his school vignettes here. Oney then gets like a knee and the surfboard in. They keep shooting. They keep going for submissions. There's then like a P&P, and it shows uppercuts and just classic takedowns and just super actual technical wrestling here. And the crowd that's here with masks are much louder. There's obviously a lot more people here that are making noise. So it almost sounds like there's an actual crowd. I found that tonight. And they're doing Oney Lorcan's theme song. Oh, throw them up, which I loved. And then when we come back, Thatcher hits a beautiful belly-to-belly toss on Oney. They start to just throw down and punch. Oney locks in the single leg crab or the maple leaf. The single leg crab, Lance Storm, happy Canada Day. Thatcher gets out of it and has his own leg lock. Then there's like a inverted leg crab again. There's then this chop to the face, a huge double underhook or a butterfly suplex for a 2 count. Oney gets out. Oney then like puts his finger in Thatcher's mouth and just kind of fish hooks him, but Tim ain't taking none of that shit. Locks in the Fujiwara armbar, and Oney Lorcan taps out. And Thatcher just doesn't let it go. And Oney's just screaming in his arm. He's selling the arm like his arm is broken. Thatcher stands tall and says, it's the school of Thatcher. That's what this is. So Thatcher beats Oney. Throw him up.
I thought this was awesome. I really enjoyed this match. There was a moment quite early on where Thatcher, or was it? No, I think it was Oney, had in this like S-grip arm lock, I think they said, and they kept rolling back and forth with it.
There's so many counters.
And then Thatcher just picks him up with one arm, and we see it a bunch. Like Roman Reigns does it a lot, the one arm powerbomb, and it normally looks kind of set up, still looks cool. Here it legit looked like he was just picking him up with one arm.
Yeah,
looked great. Just awesome submissions and counters all over the place. I love the bit they were doing this slap exchange, and then Oney does his like amped up eyes, and Thatcher starts doing it back.
He's just as crazy looking.
I want to see these two in the fight pit. Maybe it's too soon for another one, but I thought this was a great match. I really think this style of match works in this era of wrestling.
Yeah, this was like a pancreas fight.
It was great.
Pancrase. It was like shoot fighting. It looked good. We love Oney Lorcan here on the show. I think he's underrated talent. I saw him on the indies a lot. And Thatcher, he's made a name for himself, and he's just great. I kind of want this to be like a continuing TV feud. Maybe I would love a fight pit, but it's way too soon. You're right. But yeah, this would be the two guys I want in it, because Oney can grap too.
Yeah.
Oney's like
as soon as I announced this match, I was like, oh yeah, that's going to be great. Didn't know
fun.
I wanted it, but
yeah,
as soon as they said it, yeah, that's something I want.
Yeah.
Just before the match, there was, I don't think you mentioned the Damian Priest promo.
Oh, yes.
Is it Mackenzie backstage?
Yes,
was like,
Mitchell.
I want to talk to you. And he kind of went, fuck off. Looked in the camera and called out Cameron Grimes and calls him for a match next week and says, the beating will live forever.
Wow.
I actually quite like him as a face.
Okay.
I think it's working for him. And I like how he's managed to sort of use his catchphrase and change it so it works as a babyface. But I thought we already knew this match was happening, right?
I thought so.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude slashes your tires. You should fight him.
Yeah.
That's right. That's kind of how it works. So we'll get to that later. We'll go back to the Cameron Grimes and Damian Priest. But we have a vignette here for Karrion Kross. Do you know how to read between the lines? Time has different plans for the future. Well, the plot is about to thicken, as Scarlett says. This brand's identity will soon be defined by torment and suffering. It's never about time. You put it in time and time and time and time again. There's so much time. There's never enough time. We're out of time. And time's almost up. Karrion Kross and Scarlett are basically telling us they're going to interfere in the match next week. That's what I got out
And
of
they
it.
love clocks.
They're the opposite of Captain Hook, who is one of my all-time heroes, because he's the true real guy in that story, good guy in that story. Hook hates clocks because it freaks him out. It's like PTSD. Whereas Karrion Kross is like walking around like, I don't know, like Flava Flav.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
I literally met Flava Flav and he was wearing a clock. I'm not like, he wears a... Karrion Kross should come out. Like, Karrion Kross carrying a clock. Bars. So yeah, Karrion Kross is basically saying, look, Keith Lee broke my hourglass. I'm really upset about it, and I'm going to interfere in his match next week. That's what I got out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'm reading between the lines, as Karrion Kross said. We now have our next match, Rhea Ripley versus Aaliyah and Robert Stone. Yes, Robert Stone is going to wrestle If Rhea Ripley loses this match, she has to join Robert Stone brand. So Robert Stone comes out in his Sly Stallone gear. He's looking like Rocky. He looks really funny with this gear, actually. I've seen.
I liked the gear. I hate when there are people that we know are wrestlers and are now in a manager role, and they decide to wear like a black tracksuit or something. Like, you know, when Johnny Ace would be in a match, and it's like, we all know you like had killer matches in All Japan, or like Mercury and Noble when they were J&J Security.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, we saw you in the Cruiserweight division. We know you can wrestle. Why are you now just wrestling in shirt and trousers? So I liked he was in some kind of gear here.
Yeah, he looked good.
It was funny.
Yeah, you know what? This guy actually, like, I'm kind of negative when I see him on my screen, and then he like proves me wrong.
Wins you
always.
over?
Yeah, like always. And I can't say the same for him when he was in TNA. A lot of people liked, but I just couldn't. I was like, whatever. But I actually think he's kind of given something and he runs with it, so I can appreciate it. But Robert Stone looking like Sly Stallone with he's doing all Rocky. He's doing the like gonna fly now. It's the Great American Bash.
I thought he
right?
was just gonna knock out.
Oh, imagine that would be the great. Like he's just doing the punches and then just sucker punches.
The rest just waves it
and
off.
it's done. The match just doesn't happen, and he's like, I don't even want you in my brand. Get out of here. I've been a wrestler this whole time. I don't need.
You did it, Aaliyah. Happy Canada Day.
That's not. Yeah, chick from the six. That's not what happened, and he's basically now running around like I don't know, Itchy and Scratchy from Rhea Ripley here. He's running around. She's slapping him around. Aaliyah does a satellite head scissors. There's then a knee in the corner, and Stone holds Ripley, and Aaliyah just runs right at her. Aaliyah jumps up on the shoulders of Rhea Ripley, but then gets an electric chair, like face first slam, but Stone breaks up the count. There's then a crossbody from Robert Stone to the outside, but Rhea Ripley just walks away, and Stone just eats shit, just lands on the outside. They do picture-in-picture, and they're showing the match, and then the picture-in-picture leaves and goes to just commercials for like a few minutes, and then comes back. So I was like, okay,
I think we all did the same, right?
I was like, all right.
I think WWE went, hey, no one's paying attention to this in commercials.
Put the ads on.
We'll save a couple of bucks. Just hear about Papa John's in full.
We come back learning about the Shack Pizza again, and Robert Stone has a Boston Crab on Rhea Ripley, and Aaliyah's got like this like crossface, but Rhea Ripley does not break it. There's then a double suplex on Rhea, but she kicks out of that. Robert Stone gets like thrown into the corner there. There's then a side kick to Aaliyah. Then Rhea Ripley trips Aaliyah, which sends her face first into Robert Stone's stones. Right in the balls. And he somehow gets out of that, tries to roll up Rhea Ripley. She's like, that's not happening. Locks in the prism trap on both of them, on each arm. And Robert Stone taps out, and Aaliyah's hitting him like, don't tap, but he taps instantly, and then she taps. Rhea Ripley taps out Aaliyah and Robert Stone. Rhea Ripley does not join Robert Stone brand, which is the sad part about this whole thing.
I found this all pretty sad.
Yeah, this was really weird.
I found some of this entertaining, mainly because I think Robert Stone is pretty entertaining. As you said, I think he puts his all into everything he's given.
Yeah.
And I think he's pretty good at it. The finish looked cool with Rhea lifting them both up.
Prism trap.
But Rhea was like, it felt like a rocket was gonna be on her, right?
Yeah.
She came to NXT, she beat Shayna, she had that War Games match, she had the Survivor Series match, she was winning on when like the Saudi Arabia thing happened and we had NXT on SmackDown. She seemed to be like the future of the women's division. And now maybe this is just a stopgap, but I thought this might, like, I kind of saw her being screwed over here, so she'd at least have some little story with the brand.
Remember when Shawn Michaels had to work for JBL because like Shawn Michaels randomly needed money? That's like what I thought they were gonna do. Where she like had to work for him.
Gonna have something, just whereas I don't see her necessarily being EO's like next big challenger.
Yeah.
Maybe this is just like some entertaining finish for her, and we're gonna just see her move up because I'm kind of done with her in NXT.
Me too. Me too.
Which is a shame because I think there's something in her. As I've said before, I think she works way better as a heel.
Me too.
But there is a star quality about her, and I know I kind of talk negatively about her a lot, but I do see it. But I mean, yeah, 2020, you know,
Yeah.
kind of sucks.
Yeah, really. I think she needs to move away as well.
Something
It's
needs
just
to change,
Yeah,
right?
I think this would have been a fun kind of TV storyline. In fact, I could see them doing this with other people, and finally they get someone, and then they're like, "Oh my god, now someone's in this group," and
Yeah.
they like start to snowball, right?
I just thought, I mean, you could have some fun tag matches where Rhea really doesn't want to be in it, but Aaliyah finally starts getting wins because Rhea just comes in and murders someone and pins, and it's like, yeah, okay.
It's kind of like in AEW, Colt Cabana's joining the Dark Order. It's like Robert Stonebrand is hiring people for this cult.
But
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is it for Rhea
on
on NXT.
NXT. Interesting. We cut to Roderick Strong, who's having a sit-down interview type video, and he's basically, what's the thing in Inception, the spinning thing?
The totem.
The totem. Yeah, Roddy's got one of those, and he doesn't know if he's dreaming.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Roddy is Leonardo DiCaprio. Roddy's like, tell me, I'm tired of Dexter and his staring. He's just always staring at me, and I can't take it anymore. I can't take this guy staring at me. You know, like you're in public and someone's just staring at you, and you're like, I don't know why this guy's staring at me. Is there something in my teeth? Like, what's going on? I don't know.
I do that on stage.
What, you stare at people?
Like when you've been doing a show for a long time, you keep on trying to make the other person laugh.
Okay.
But you try and do stuff that you know the audience won't see.
Okay.
Which makes it harder not to laugh as well. Because it's like a little secret. My thing is, if I'm having a conversation with the person on stage, I'll either look at their chin or look at their forehead, and they think they've got something there.
No.
So they'll start like wiping it away, or they think they've got like a spot that I'm just staring at, and they start being like, what? What are you doing? It's like nothing.
Well, Roddy hates it when you stare at him like that.
Don't stare at me!
Don't fucking stare at me. But Dexter keeps staring. And it shows highlights of him getting over the fear of the trunk. No trunky business. And he's over that, but he's not over Dexter. So tonight, it's the Great American Bash. And I don't know about you, but there's been a lot, I don't know what that means, but there's been a lot of great strap matches. So why not have a strap match?
It's an old gimmick, isn't it? It's like it's quite an old gimmick, and I think this Great American Bash goes back to like Jim Crockett Promotions and NWA. It's had so many iterations, like then WCW, then WWE, now NXT,
So
not AEW. So it's an old school like grudge match, right? The strap, the bull rope, the collar, those kind of.
What I think of is Eddie Guerrero and JBL. And JBL, that's a different type of match where you had to touch the corners or something. It was really weird.
Yeah.
I think of Randy Orton versus Dusty Rhodes. I think it was Dusty's last match, actually. That's a strap match.
Taz versus Jerry the King Lawler.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
And then JR gets the jar of M&Ms and smashes it over Taz's head.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow. Some just great strap matches.
They're the strap matches. Everyone's going to go, no, the Funk. Like Terry Funk against this. No, but
all I know is
Taz
we recently
versus Jerry the King Lawler.
we did our best match ever, Stan Hansen. I'm pretty sure we watched Stan Hansen murder Terry Funk, and he just came back to life. But he used a strap, like he hangs him. He hangs Terry. Yeah,
dragged him by the throat
that was
around the ring.
so extreme. That was fucking crazy. These strap. What about like the Yappa Pie strap match? Those are epic matches. There's so many of these epic strap matches, including the one here tonight. Roderick Strong versus Dexter Lumis in a strap match.
Are you sure this wasn't an Iron Man match?
Because
this
an hour
felt
long.
so long.
This is longer than the strap they were wearing, and they were wearing a long strap. I don't know if I've ever watched a wrestling show, and I know this is a planted crowd. These are WWE employees and maybe some crowd, but I don't think I've ever heard a crowd chant "Strap on Roddy." I could be wrong, but they were it sounded like they were chanting that. So "Strap on Roddy," Big Muscle Rod, Strap Man Roddy. He's got all the names. The workhorse of NXT. So he's scared of Dexter. Now he's got to be tied to him and fight him. So right before the bell rings, Roddy attacks him and beats him down and refuses to be strapped, but he gets strapped to him. Dexter beats on him. There's uppercuts. He's throwing him around. Morrow mentions epic strap matches like Wahoo and Jimmy McFarland and so many epic ones that I just remembered Eddie and JBL because I'm young. We see Roddy just get pulled by the strap into the apron. They're fighting around. There's a running knee from Roddy. Dexter basically goes to whip Roddy. This whole match, I'm like, someone's got to use it to whip them. That's like a strap match, and no one's doing it. Finally, Dexter does it, but Roddy gets out of the way. He straps the steps. They start running up the ramp, and I mentioned the set of tonight, the Great American Bash. There's these cars, these Vipers or whatever. The trunk. Dexter opens up, and of course the car has a trunk, and he's trying to trunk him up, but he gets out of that, and Roddy hits an angle slam on the outside. And Roddy's like, do you know who I am? I'm Roderick fucking Strong. He starts to strap him, just smacking him around, clotheslines. Hits a superplex, which looked great. There's like a really shitty stronghold, but Dexter gets out of it. Fish runs down, interferes with an assist, but Lumis gets a side kick for a 2 count. Fish runs in again to interfere, but then there's this like strap being pulled into the Uranagi, which then into this arm triangle, which Dexter now calls the silence, which is the submission move, and Roderick Strong taps out. Dexter Lumis wins the strap match. Wow. The boyhood dream has come true.
I hate to sound so negative on Canada Day.
Yeah.
But I thought this sucked as well. I
didn't
didn't
really like
enjoy
this.
this. This felt so long. I think strap matches, someone like Roddy, I expect to be quite creative with this kind of stipulation. We were joking about previous strap matches. The Fiend and Daniel Bryan earlier this year had a strap match, and I actually thought it was pretty good. Mainly because of Daniel Bryan. I thought he worked with the gimmick so well, and you want to see kind of what interesting things you can do with the strap, like dragging them around, whipping them with it, that kind of thing. I felt this was a whole load of just walking around.
Yeah.
Walking to the trunk, but the trunk wasn't used, and then...
You wanted him to go in the trunk.
And I feel bad, because I think they're both probably going to post on their Instagram, like, shots of these like, strap marks on their back. And I don't think anyone cared, right?
Yeah.
This really wasn't good. I feel like they're kind of pushing Dexter to the moon, and I think there's room for a Dexter Lumis, but I'm worried that they're putting him in the title picture, and I don't think there's room for him there.
Yeah, this was really... I'm not on board with Dexter Lumis as much. Look, you have Karrion Kross, who's this new guy, and his whole gimmick is he's spooky and scary in horror movies and all this stuff. And then we have, like, the cartoon version of that guy, who's Dexter Lumis. Like, this was a strap match, and it wasn't... And this
like,
was
that's
so
fine.
long.
Middle of the card.
Sure.
Absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Challenge for North American, if you've got a heel North American champion here and there, fine. But, like, it looks like he's beating Roddy to face Adam Cole.
Ugh.
Which I don't like.
Dexter Lumis for NXT champ. Look, he's not like a terrible wrestler. It's just like this is just not working.
And
for
this,
me.
like, and I
Something's
put
gotta
it
get
on
better.
both of them. I thought Roddy would be more creative with this kind of thing.
It's a strap match. I don't know.
Watch Daniel Bryan again, as I say.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying it's the greatest match of all time, but considering you've got that, like, Fiend gimmick, which is so hard to work against, and the limitations of the strap, I thought he put on something really quite special there. And this was just boring.
I was a little bored with this match, and I love Roddy. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was weird. Strap matches don't work. The upper pie. Keith Lee, Adam Cole, a video package for their match next week. A double championship, North American and NXT World. Keith Lee says he's gonna do what no one says he could, and that's be a champion. He did that, and next week is his chance to deliver, and he's not going to let anyone down. NXT, NX Lee. Adam Cole says, I'm undisputed, and you see, Keith Lee, no one's had a better year than you, except me. I've been holding this title for over a year, and you're not taking it away from me. And it ends with Keith Lee saying, Adam Cole, you may be undisputed, but I'm unstoppable. So we will see that next week. Backstage, we have Johnny and Candice. They are upset that Candice was beat up and eliminated from that match early. So Johnny's kind of talking shit about that. When Mia Yim and Candice just start to have a brawl backstage, Johnny tries to break it up, and out comes Isaiah Swerve Scott to the aid of Mia Yim, and he kind of pulls them away, and Johnny's like, you're going to regret getting into my business. So I presume Johnny versus Swerve next week on Great American Bash Part 2.
Which I guess that will be in the slot of the kind of Thatcher Lorcan where you go,
Yeah.
oh, that should be good.
Yeah.
Not something I particularly thought I'd see, but yeah, that should be an interesting match.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing that. Johnny Gargano versus anyone, really.
Yeah.
But also Swerve is awesome, so I'd like to see that. We have El Legado El Fantasma. Am I saying it right? Hopefully. I'm going to mess it up. I call them Legacy. I call them the Mask of the Phantasm. I call them the Phantom. They all come out in their suits with their...
Looking good.
Yeah, they're looking fly. The Legacy of the Phantom. He talks, Escobar here. He says, Lucha Libre was once revered in a culture that used to mean something. You see, it used to transcend past, beyond the wrestling ring. We were movie stars, icons, heroes, and role models. But you see, historic tradition turned it into some sort of sideshow. You settled on Lucha Libre as just guys in masks doing flips. Well, we are here to rediscover the roots in our image, and we will leave a legacy, and we're going to build an empire. He's saying, look, Lucha Libre used to be lit, but everyone turned it into a joke since Jack Black made that Nacho Libre movie, and we're taking it back. We're bringing it back.
It was kind of weird, though, because the crowd were trying to, like, chirp him. So he's like, oh, it's, like, not just about flips and this. And they were chanting, like, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Kind of just insulting
Lucha shit. Lucha
all
stuff.
of Lucha Libre, yeah.
Yeah. So Escobar here, Santos Escobar, is interrupted as Drake Maverick, his music hits. He comes out in a neck brace. He takes off the neck brace and he runs down. He charges the ring. He charges all three guys. Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza beat down on him, and they're like, I told you, you're nothing. And out come Breezango for the save, and they kind of scare off this Lucha Cartel, is what I'm still calling them. And they kind of challenge them to a match next week. They say, you got no place to run and no place to hide. We're talking about matches we didn't really know we wanted to see. Well, next week, it's the Lucha Cartel versus Breezango and Drake Maverick.
Breezango got us again. They got us again.
They got me again.
We're watching it.
They got me again.
And you're going, who's it gonna be? And then Drake comes out, oh yeah, Drake. It's gonna be Drake, and it's gonna be Kushida, and it's gonna be Jake Atlas, and and like, oh, it's Breezango. Yep.
They keep doing this thing where you think it's someone else, and then
yeah. But to be fair, I've quite enjoyed their matches. So I think a 6-man against these guys, and we haven't seen Joaquin or Raul Mendoza work since this new thing. And Mendoza especially, I've always been a big fan of. 2-time Enhancement Talent of the Year in the upNXT Awards.
Yeah, it's true.
So I think this could actually be a really fun match.
Yeah, I think this will be a fun. I'm joking about Breezango, but they have been fun. So I think this could be great, and gives all the guys will get a showcase. I think. Yeah, it'll be good.
And apparently, Santos Escobar is advertised for having a match this Friday on 205 Live.
Yeah, it's also noted after there was like an online Twitter thing that Robert Stone and Aaliyah, with the Rhea Ripley thing, that saying that they didn't want her anyways. Yeah, obviously.
Do you?
No. We then go to our backstage interviewer. Are you ready?
Yeah.
It's Cameron Grimes.
Cameron Grimes.
It's Grime time. Cameron Grimes is being interviewed, and he starts to mock the voice of Damian Priest. He goes, "I want to live forever." It's Grime time. He says, "A man who claims he lives forever, well, he's sure in a hurry to come after me. But who wouldn't? I'm Cameron Grimes. Don't worry about the past. I put my foot on the gas." You see, Adam Cole, Keith Lee, it doesn't matter who wins next week. I want you to fight me. I'm calling myself the #1 contender. Cameron Grimes is going to the moon. Woo! Cameron Grimes.
Is this the best person on NXT right now?
This is the hottest character we got going, and I don't care if you believe me or agree with me.
No, I
but
think
yeah,
everyone
he
agrees
is.
with you. Honestly, like
He's lit.
at least the consensus from like our
told y'all.
listeners who message us, like
Cameron Grimes is going to the moon.
He's got so much personality. He can wrestle. Yeah, this is awesome. I love this.
Cameron Grimes put on a hat. And before Cameron Grimes put on the hat, no one cared who he was.
Yeah.
But he put on the hat, and everyone loves him. I love this guy. He is a highlight of this show every week.
He's growing each and every week.
I loved him as Trevor Lee. I absolutely love him as Cameron Grimes. I can't wait. This guy is going to be a future NXT champion. I see this guy being a long-term.
I see him kind of almost, you know, like how the New Day, when they were like bland baby faces, then turned heel, became really obnoxious, and they started to become so funny with it
And then they're
that they
faces.
just transitioned them to faces. I can see this working for him as a babyface character, and I can see it having some steam.
Well, he's got steam because his foot's on the gas.
Absolutely.
He's going to the moon. Cameron Grimes. We get a Mercedes Martinez video coming soon. She better be coming soon. They just keep telling me she's coming soon.
Yeah.
I hate that in wrestling, where they don't tell you. And literally, she just said, I couldn't tell you what she said because it's just like the generic thing. But I know she's great, so I can't wait. But like, let's go.
Yeah.
We need some new things.
That could be a way out for Ripley.
There you
Ripley,
go.
Mercedes Martinez, and that can be like the swan song for Rhea Ripley.
There you go. Book it.
Yeah.
Next week, it's announced Mia Yim versus Candice LeRae in a street fight at the Great American Bash Part 2, and the 6-man tag, like we mentioned. And
So we're gonna see them next week, like smacking each other with chairs, with kendo sticks, with steel steps. Yet tonight, they got beaten by roll-ups.
yeah, well, that happens. You know, that happens. That's a thing that happens. And of course, the main event next week will be double championship: Adam Cole versus Keith Lee, NXT North American, both on the line. That is the main. That's going to be wild. But now it's time for our main event of the evening. A match that was announced earlier this week that broke the wrestling internet, essentially. Dream match buzz, if you will. And it's happening here on NXT's Great American Bash. And of course, I'm talking about Sasha Banks versus Io Shirai. Yeah, dream match.
Yeah, this was another match. I think Io is one of the people where you want to see the match against Charlotte. You want to see the match against Sasha. You want to see the match against Bayley. Becky won't happen for a while.
Right.
But there's just that worry as well that on the main roster, you won't get it quite like you feel you should.
It's not
get
the
it,
same.
right?
Yeah.
So as soon as this was announced, I think Sasha in the last couple of months, both her and Bayley have had so much steam. I think they've really really understood their characters now.
Reinvented themselves.
Yeah, and I think I just want to go on a slight tangent before the match, just about Sasha and Bayley. I'm actually really loving their story. I think when they first moved up to the main roster, they teased like a kind of breakup and didn't work, and then they had these women's titles. But when you look at them, I think they're the only two characters that, like, their story in NXT through to main roster has been canon the whole time.
Yeah.
Quite often main roster ignore everything that happens. Whereas you think Sasha moved up first with the other women, and on the main roster they mention the 4 horsewomen. Sasha's the one that brings Bayley up. They team together. They mention the Brooklyn match on WWE TV. Whereas sometimes they don't even mention if someone's a former NXT champion, you know? And then they've had this friendship pretty much the whole time. Where I think when they eventually pull the trigger on this match between the two, and I think they could potentially spread it like to WrestleMania next year.
Yeah.
You could pull the trigger at SummerSlam. I think there's still steam as
I think you could ride
them
it
as
out.
tag champions and them in other feuds. And I think it'll be an interesting thing next time because I think it should be kind of Bayley as the heel with Sasha as the face.
I find Sasha as the cool one in the 4 horsemen group because Bayley had her spot when she was like coming up and became champion with that match with Sasha and stuff. Charlotte obviously is like this huge mega star in the world of wrestling. Like, people know who she is. and Becky, another like huge megastar, whereas Sasha's like the one we were talking outside before the show, like the one that would like jump to AEW. She's the cool one, you know. They're friends with the Revival. You know what I mean? Like they're like the cool wrestling.
I think she's one of the people where
smarky.
I loved her in NXT, and she had some really great matches there with like Charlotte with Becky. There were the 4-way match, obviously the match with Bayley, and she's had good matches on the main roster. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But she feels a bit like hot and cold all the time. Just
Definitely.
the way the company feel with her, and it's frustrating because we know, especially with a women's wrestler, their careers tend to not be as long as men, right?
Sure.
And I think it's frustrating because you know there are these matches you want to see with Sasha Banks. Like, I want to see that it's probably happened on main roster, but I want to see a proper Sasha Banks Kairi Sane match, like a takeover level match.
Well, hey, Kairi not wrestling right now.
I know, but like they've been on the same brand for long enough where it could have happened, but you don't get the same respect on that main roster most of the time. So it was really nice to see Sasha here, and I think Sasha could benefit from maybe having a few more matches in NXT.
For me, Sasha and Bayley got me like so into that like world of wrestling. To me, they I think, look, I got into wrestling. I always talk about 2005 was like my WWE time.
Best year of wrestling,
of course, right? But like around that time, it was like Lita and Trish killing it, and like I always like was like, oh, these two were like the best. And then like fast forward, I always look to Sasha and Bayley. Like Sasha Bayley Brooklyn was one of my favorite matches like ever. It's so good. And I love the fact that they're finally kind of getting it right, because there was so many bumps in the road on the way. But I think watching it here, she came out looking like a star, because Sasha Banks, the boss, is in a car. They got a driver with Bayley, and they got a fucking dog, like their corgi. I think it's Sasha's dog.
It was kind of like Brooklyn.
Yeah,
she came out in the car.
Exactly. So over at AEW around the same time, we have Trent Beretta having his own entrance with his mom. So I don't know what's better, a dog or someone's mom. Just fantastic. Sasha Banks is like an NXT like legend. People absolutely love her. I had her legit boss shirt that I just actually.
I think I've got 2 Sasha Banks.
Wow,
shirts.
great. So Mauro Ranallo on the call here says, Sasha Banks, it's boss time, and just like Rick Ross, every day is a day to boss up. Ugh. So Sasha Banks, who is one half of the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, alongside, is it SmackDown's Women's Champion Bayley?
Mm-hmm.
Dos straps. Sasha is going up against the genius of the sky, the NXT Women's Champion, Io Shirai. Now, this is like a dream match in some people's mind, and it kind of starts off just like that. They tie up, and they try to one-up each other, and Io Shirai just starts to do backflips and gets the advantage of Sasha and hits like a flying top rope springboard drop kick. Then this flying rocket tope crossbody to the outside. She gets Sasha back into the ring, into the corner. And you know that move Jeff Hardy always has you like seated in the bottom turnbuckle and then lifts and then swings and drop kicks you in like the corner? Io does that, but with like her knees. So it's like a Meteora type thing. Looks great. Bayley decides to go into one of the cars and starts honking the horn, which of course would make a distraction to Io, because once you hear horn honking, you stop wrestling. That's how it works.
It's like when we're recording in the garden and we hear like sawing, we get distracted.
Yeah, we just like, fuck. So Io's distracted by the honking from Bayley, which allows Sasha to hit, to get advantage here. Sasha hits like these knees and then low knees in the middle of the ring. Sasha always has these signature like meteor. They both use similar knees and meteors and stuff like that. Io hits a head scissors and then a beautiful picture perfect top rope Frankensteiner. This is lit. There's then a flapjack just like Okada does, a 619, and then a crazy springboard drop kick. Io Shirai is the best springboard drop kick. It makes Sasha just turn inside out. There's then this German where Sasha looked like she wanted to land on her feet, but instead just lands on her head.
Yeah, so
I don't know what happened.
A lot of Io's moves, like when you think of her moonsault, it's a really like low, fast moonsault. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the angle is so like low, and it's same with her German a lot of the time. It's quite a low German, and it looked like Sasha tried to do the flip out onto her feet, but kind of landed on her head. And Io was great because she kind of, I think it was meant to be she lands on her feet and goes into the bank statement right away. where she kind of rocked herself, and Io bought time for a bit to kind of check in on her and started laying in some kicks, which then she trapped in.
Io goes for a butterfly, tiger driver or something, but that's countered again twice into the bank statement there from Sasha. But then there's a roll through, and Io just hits this double stomp, to just crushing Sasha here. Just looks awesome. She goes up for the moonsault, but gets tied up in the tree of woe. And this is where Sasha just does her legit boss trash talk and says, "Look, Io, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't me. I made this place. This is my place," as the quote-unquote crowd chant, "You don't go here." And just like Charlotte said, "Bitch, I'm made here. What are you talking about? There wouldn't be this without me." And then there's a flying meteora from the top rope from Sasha for a 2 count. Io is now up on the top rope and just gets this like roundhouse. She's up on the apron, and we've been watching on New Japan, and there's a guy who does this move, Hiromu Takahashi, with his sunset flip bomb. Obviously, Sasha's been watching the cup.
I'm calling it the Hiromu Sasha Hashi.
Because she slams her right into the plexiglass.
Sunset bomb slammed into the plexiglass, slammed to the floor.
Oh my god, she is splat. Just out there. Just looks crazy. So a sunset flip off from the ring to the outside into this plexiglass, and then just drops her. This looks awesome. Lays her out in the middle of the ring. Sasha goes up. Her favorite wrestler is Eddie Guerrero, so she goes for the frog splash, but Io moves out of the way. Sasha just lands, no water in the pool, as Mauro would say, but then Io instantly locks in the crossface. This is where Bayley gets involved and throws in one of the titles, and when the referee's distracted, just punches Io in the face. But this is where Sasha has the advantage, and you think the evilness of Bayley is going to help Sasha get the win. A random appearance, a strange appearance, as a wild Asuka has come into play. She is here and blows the green mist right into Sasha's face. Io gets a roll up, but it's only a 2 count. The Shote palm strike from Io,
which looked fantastic.
Oh my god, this move is crazy. If I haven't gotten in a fight in a long time, but if you were to get in a fight, Shote palm strikes all around. That's how you win these fights.
Palms to the chest and then just confused. I'm like, what are you doing?
What are you doing? And then the one to the face, which would probably break my own palm. Io lays Sasha out with the palm strike, climbs to the top rope. Io Shirai hits the beautiful moonsault. She is the genius of the sky. And oh my, Io Shirai gets me high, hits the moonsault. Io Shirai pins Sasha Banks and celebrates in the ring afterwards with Asuka. And as Io's theme bangs on, because that theme is a banger, Asuka's dancing to her theme song. Because I was dancing to the theme song during her entrance.
There were people
but then
in the crowd doing it as well.
That's my new favorite thing. Dancing to Io Shirai's theme song. But what a match. This was awesome. I was really down on this entire episode of NXT, but this main event saved it for me. Absolutely loved this match.
I loved this. I think I'm like just kind of gushing about Sasha Banks tonight.
Sure.
Because I've missed her, you know? I know she's been there for a while, but I've kind of missed her having these awesome matches. And there's something about her where when she took that time off, like she went to Japan and she was working with Joshi's over there, and she was training and trying to like learn new stuff. You see her inspirations from the likes of Eddie Guerrero and stuff, and I think it makes her different from the others. And I can see the idea of a match against Io Shirai and like her and Asuka. I think that should be the main event of Extreme Rules. Like
Sasha versus Asuka.
Sasha versus Asuka.
100%.
That is the hottest match for me.
Yes.
And should be given time, and it feels fresh. I think this is awesome. And as we were watching the match, I was going, I'm enjoying it, but it's just going to be some shitty finish because Io has only just won this championship. Sasha's got a championship match in 2 weeks. But I wasn't smart enough to really think Asuka would have any involvement. And Asuka coming out, I liked it. Yeah. I'm not always a fan of like dodgy finishes, but Asuka, it worked because it now gets me interested. It gets me more hyped for the Extreme Rules match. Now it's put the idea of Io and Asuka against Bayley and Banks at some point.
Imagine Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Io Shirai versus Sasha, Bayley, and Charlotte.
I mean, down the line, that would be fantastic. I mean, you've got those three aligned as heels at the moment, and when Kairi comes back from Japan, that would be something I'd want to see.
Yeah.
But you could have Io trying to be Io two straps.
There you
as
go.
Well.
Yeah. Why not?
I think, to be honest, the women are the most interesting thing in WWE by far now.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people have been down about no Evolution 2. And I can't remember which superstar said it, but they were like, no, we shouldn't be like striving for all female pay-per-views. We should just be striving for like us well, they've already broken the mold of just having the one match per show.
Right.
But at the moment, I would much rather see a pay-per-view with 4 or 5 women's matches and 1 token men's match, you know?
Sure.
And like, because the women are killing it right now in this company.
They really are. I think this was one of my favorite matches in NXT TV this year. I think this might be my favorite TV
and they
match.
left you wanting more. Like,
Yeah.
we know
You could see this again.
We know these two. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say this was a takeover level.
No.
But
it was great.
just the fact of seeing Io and Sasha in the ring was enough for now.
I absolutely loved. Because obviously you listen to this show. I gush over Io Shirai. She is one of my favorite wrestlers. Not I don't say women's wrestler. She's just one of my favorite wrestlers.
Yeah.
She is better than more people they have signed on this company. She is just so fantastic. And I am a huge Sasha Banks fan, and I thought this was so fantastic. This is great. Women's wrestling. They came out tonight. They totally delivered. I was really low on this show. I thought it was kind of really throwaway show until this main event. I really loved it. And the Asuka thing, you know me, I don't watch a lot of the main roster stuff. I tune in here and then, and I know what's going on with Asuka and them. It didn't even click that she would show up to help here, and she just appeared.
It was kind of
nowhere.
obvious once it
Yeah.
happened, but I
You were
was
like,
like,
oh, yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
perfect solution for this.
Yeah, it was great. I absolutely love this. I love that Sasha Banks was like a huge star in NXT, went through and disappeared to the main roster, and then Io Shirai is the champion now. She keeps saying in the promo videos leading up to this match, with her laying down with the title and the dress and stuff, she's like, this is my NXT now. You're gone. You've been gone. I run this place. And she beat Sasha, which I think is very important too, because you can't have Io lose. She's the champ. But I absolutely love this. The parallels of each character are fantastic. Will we see Sasha and Io again one day? Yeah, probably. I
hope
any
so.
iteration. She showed that like she can hang.
I really hope if hopefully we get out of this pandemic, I really hope her takeover has a kind of Sasha return, or because we had like the Charlotte thing. Charlotte came down, but we never had that takeover in front of a crowd kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we know just the level of matches at a takeover, just the crowd, the heat from the crowd is different. I'd love to see Sasha and Io main event a takeover, or Io and Charlotte, or this tag match, or
I just want to see.
I think it would be electric.
You know what's really electric is Asuka and Io dancing to Io's theme song. That was very electric.
I would say the show overall, I think if the first match lived up to my expectations, I think overall this would be a good show. The first match really kind of put me in a bad mood. I enjoyed Timothy Thatcher, Oney Lorcan. I actually thought that was very good.
Yeah.
But
too.
then kind of that strap match just seemed to go on forever.
Forever.
And then it was saved at the end. It was a very up and down show this week. I'm looking forward to watching AEW. I know on paper that show looks fantastic.
Yes.
I think unless they kind of fuck up, I think it should be the better show this week. But next week looks interesting for NXT. We have Gargano versus Swerve. We've got the double title match. Both of them should live up to it. Is it Candice v. Mia next week?
Yes. Street
Okay.
fight. And a Great American Bash street fight.
Whatever that is.
I'm just calling it that because
Okay.
it's Great American.
All right.
If it was tonight, the Great Canadian Bash, they would use hockey sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
But
yeah, I was really down on the show, but I really was into that main event. We watch a lot of wrestling. We do Best Match Ever and stuff like that. We really like in-ring work. We like actual wrestling, but sometimes the storytelling and the characters and everything do really come into play, and that's what WWE is known for, and that's what they create so much garbage and trash, but something that is really hitting with me as a fan of WWE and NXT is these characters that they're not your cookie cutter shit. Like, look how interesting this Sasha Banks and Bailey look to me. They come out in a car with a dog. Then you have
Oh,
Asuka
Bailey's, we
spitting
didn't
green
talk
mist.
about Bailey's jacket.
Yeah, Bailey's wearing a chalk
Bailey's
line.
always worn these like chalk line jackets,
Yeah.
but mainly when she was the kind of babyface character, and it would be like the
Right.
Bailey buddies on it and all that. This was like
was
her
lit.
and Sasha. It was blue.
I want one of those.
It looked awesome.
I want the Macho Man Madness chalk line.
Oh,
but
yeah.
with we have a Patreon, and the money we make from that pays our rent. But it's gonna be buying myself a Ribera jacket for my birthday. I think
Nice.
that's what I'm gonna be doing. It's not chalk line, but it's Ribera.
And Sasha's gear as well, with all the like
Yes.
American flags and
Looked
stuff.
great.
I think Bailey wearing like some silly hat as
It
well.
looked great. I thought the
I-
corgi
they
was gonna
looked
get involved
awesome.
in the match. They'd use it as a distraction. Would have been great. I love this main event. It was great. I'm interested in seeing. We're gonna see Tegan Nox versus Io Shirai. Will that be added to something maybe next week? I don't know. We'll see. As next week is the Great American Bash. But that's what we thought of NXT. Every Wednesday night we talk about NXT. We go live on YouTube, but we also will read your feedback. Forum.postwrestling.com is where we post it up. And I see one here from Eva from London, who's got some Thatch facts. When wrestling in Europe, the fans came up with a chant for Thatcher, sung to the tune of Walking in a Winter Wonderland.
Oh yeah, that's just a football thing.
Oh, okay.
It'd be walking in a Thatcher Wonderland.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys always sing that.
We do it at Arsenal. Like
Right,
back in the
yeah.
day, Dennis Bergkamp walking in a Bergkamp Wonderland.
Hey, check this out. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Go Reds.
Yeah.
Is that
Oh
right?
yeah, North American chants suck. Defense. Cool.
Eva from London continues here. Match of the night was Thatcher and Lorcan. Catch brilliance. Baszler would be proud. Number 2 was surprise Nox won instead of Kai in a good match. I have no idea where the NXT women's division scene is. Haven't had a clue since Charlotte won. Number 3, Rhea going over Robert Stonebrand was the right call. Good comedy, but Ripley should be back in the main event scene. Number 4, Mercedes Martinez is back next week. Can't wait.
Oh,
There
next
you
week.
go.
Okay.
Number 5, lastly, was it just me or did it feel like Lumis squashed strong? Keep up the
Do
good work.
squashes go on for 37
But, like,
minutes?
It didn't make
I don't know.
anyone look good. I didn't.
No,
think.
it was-
Yeah. I didn't get
Okay.
it. And they end with Happy Canada Day. To you
Thank
too,
you very
Eva
much.
from
Happy
London.
Canada
Thank you.
Day. We go to Jesse from the 6.
66666. Oh, Jesse's gonna come over and bring us strong zeros
He is.
after we're done recording
Yeah.
right now.
Gonna watch some AEW.
Oh my god, I'm so
whilst
excited.
being 2 meters apart in the back.
Yeah.
Happy Canada Day, fellow Canuck and semi-Canuck.
AA.
I hope you spent the day listening to Carly Rae Jepsen, drinking Ryan Ginger, and eating craft dinner. We were listening to Avril
Avril.
Lavigne,
Yeah.
drinking Caesars, and eating poutine. Close enough.
Yeah.
I no longer watch WWE because they are evil, but rest assured I will always listen to the upNXT lads. Question. Who is the second greatest Canadian professional wrestler of all time?
Oh.
Take care, eh?
It's tough.
Well,
He's referring to Brett.
I'm assuming he's saying Brett's the best, then Jericho's second.
Yeah, look, I'm a huge fan of Edge. I'm a huge fan of Kenny, but I think Jericho is number 2. I think he really is. And he's from Winnipeg, you idiot.
I don't think... Like, I think there's an argument for Jericho to be one of the greatest.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Full stop.
Yeah,
ever.
for sure. We go to Paul from New Jersey. Really enjoyed the opener despite some really sloppy moments. Thought Dakota should have won, but pleasantly surprised with Tegan. I legitimately wanted Robert Stone and Aaliyah to win. Would have been pretty interesting. The middle of the show began to drag, though it was nice touch that Sasha used the stamp to sign her contract and came out in a Jaguar. Main event left a lot to be desired. Cameron Grimes is my spirit animal, and I like Captain Hook. Robert Stone is the good guy. Oh, Paul's in the chat. This week's Kona fact. Kona was mentioned on Rewind to Raw. The subject matter is not important.
Yeah, he wasn't wearing a mask. Wade
Like,
called him out on it.
you know, Way did the right thing calling Kona out, but you see, Kona just goes by his own rules.
Kona's going to start
He's gonna
retweeting Austin Aries and Loki soon.
I'll hit him up. I'll tell him to get right. I'll
Yeah.
tell him to smack up. We won't be
I
talking about
I
him
wonder
anymore.
if part of the drag was the...
Strap match.
Well, no, that, but
Strapped in.
the lack of commercials. The picture-in-picture the whole show.
Right.
Because pretty much the whole show was P&P.
Limited commercials is what it
And
was.
I wonder if that was part of it. But I thought it was pretty great that they managed to do the whole show like that. But it definitely dragged. I agree. We go to Mystery. Hiya. Not much to say about NXT tonight. Main event goddamn ruled. I know people will question the finish, but whatever. That match was goddamn great otherwise. I don't see Tegan beating Io though, and nor should she. A can of paint has more personality than her. Oh, damn.
Oh.
Question of the week. It's a somewhat lengthy one. I apologize. As long as it's not asking if we can afford office space, I'll allow it. With reports that Kairi might be done wrestling, WWE is trying to move her into an ambassador role for WWE Japan. How do you guys feel about her career in WWE? I felt like NXT run was fine, but could be better. But her main roster career, assuming she doesn't return, was completely mishandled, and it raises a huge red flag about Nia Jax and WWE's negligence to actually discipline her if she ended up putting Kairi into retirement. But if she does return, they need to pair her with Asuka and Io and reform Triple Tails, except with Kairi instead of Mio.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not entirely up to date with the Kairi thing. I've heard that they want to use her as an ambassador role in Japan. I don't know if that's just during this pandemic, because I believe her husband is still in Japan, right?
Oh, I thought it was more like they're like, hey, Kairi, we need you to wrestle Nia Jax. And then the week later, they're like, hey, Kairi, we need you to wrestle Nia Jax. And she's like, look, guys, I ain't doing this anymore. I'm out of here.
Well,
I'm going
yeah,
home.
there's that. But like,
I'd rather just go home.
I mean, yeah, I think there's got to be some kind of consequence for someone who keeps on putting people in danger. I think Kairi is one of their most like natural baby faces, great sellers, incredible wrestlers who I think the three of them, Kairi, Io, and Asuka, I never need to hear them say a word in English, whether they're heel or babyface. That they all have this incredible charisma that just like reaches through the screen and makes me interested in watching them. And I don't think you need to necessarily speak English for that to work. And it's clearly connected with people in NXT with all three of those. And I think finally, because their hands kind of been forced with Becky kind of leaving, and now Charlotte's out for a while as well, their hands kind of been forced to go with Asuka, and they've seen in this empty arena, oh, she's actually amazing.
She's great.
Her charisma's great, and it doesn't matter that she doesn't speak
Remember
English.
the streak?
Yeah,
It was good.
And they're finally treating Asuka like she should have been treated all along. I think Vince is just very kind of narrow-minded when it comes to this kind of stuff, and you really need to sort of like have a talent like figuratively slap him over the face, showing him what they can actually do before he'll run with it. I would like to see Kairi back sometime. I'd love to see that like 6-woman tag down the line, and I hope they realize with her like they're realizing with Asuka now.
Tell me how you really feel.
Yeah.
Tell me how you really feel about Kairi. We go to our last bit of feedback. Chris Thunder from Down Under. He starts with Happy Canada Day. Thank you, mate. On to NXT. Don't have much to say other than Rhea is approaching star level to the jobber. Yeah, jobber to the stars. Like, fuck me. 6 months ago, she won the title, and she was unstoppable, and she's lost clean twice in 2 title matches, and now is feuding with Robert Stone. Yeah. Then Asuka using the green mist in the middle of a global pandemic where the virus spreads from person to person via mouth droplets. What in the actual fuck, you dumb idiots? Like a parent of a troublesome teenager, I'm not mad at WWE anymore. I'm just disappointed. Done with WWE, but we'll always look forward to listening to Post and the BDE. Peace out.
You.
Oh, thank you, Chris Thunder.
Yeah,
We're sorry.
well, the Iconics are doing well.
There you go.
You saw Peyton spinning Brainbuster. Like,
Yeah, that was the lit move.
join Paul from New Jersey and go for them because I think the Rhea thing's done.
What was it, Twist of Pate?
Nice.
That's what she calls it.
Is that what she?
I think
It
someone
looked
called it.
amazing.
Yeah, it looks great. That was NXT. That's what you thought of it. Up next, you can find us every Wednesday. We will review. We'll be back. We had our Great Canadian Bash. We're going to go have some more Caesars, some Lay's chips. We do have a Patreon. It's the first of the month, so join up now and get all the shows, including the past shows. But this week, we're doing Death Race 2000 with Sly Stallone and David Carradine.
Yeah.
Can't wait. What a ridiculous up your selection from a World Champ Patreon. We have a
It's extreme.
Oh, it's extreme.
It happened to just fall into the lap of this
Extreme month.
It's extreme.
We have Was Next, where we go back in time and watch old NXT. That is a show we're doing this week as well. And this whole month, the whole month schedule is extreme, like you said, and I can't wait to do all of these shows. We will be talking about some old Great American Bash matches, and I cannot wait. So patreon.com/upNXT, $5 a month gets you all of our past shows, all the new shows, everything. And yeah, that's where you can find more of us. Again, join our Facebook page and Facebook group. Join the conversation. We're all talking on there and posting memes and funny shit. UpNXT Podcast on Facebook. And our Twitter, @UpNXT Podcast, is where you can find us. And I myself, Braden Harrington, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter. I am @TheBrady.
And I am @Davie Portman.
Happy Canada Day. Happy 4th of July. And we forgot to do thank yous for some patrons because we always like to shout out our patrons. So before we do that, I want to give a nice big thank you to Scott Barr.
Scott Barr. The bars are now open in most of the world. So thank you, Scott.
Thank you to Surin. Thank you to Chris Schermbeck.
One of my friends from WrestleMania trips.
Hey,
thank you, Chris.
Thank
for
you,
listening.
Chris. Ooh, I recognize someone else we met last year at WrestleMania weekend. Thank you to Shugs. Thank you, Shugs. And thank you to Heiko Neymar.
And I would like to say, and new upNXT World Champion, thank you to Chris Leone. Thank you to Walter Martin.
Hey, thank you, Walter. Walter.
That's not our Walter.
Not our Walter.
But
Now it's our Walter.
Now our Walter.
We have two. We have three Walters now.
Yeah. Thank you to Quinn Weddle, who we'll be chatting to this week on the Patreon, all about Death Race 2000.
Can't wait.
Thank you to new patron Alan Simmons. And thank you to Zach Midress.
Oi, oi, oi. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening to this show. Wherever you find the show, whatever podcast app you're using, give us a nice rating. Give us a little thumbs up or little blurb about how you like us. It does a lot for us. And thank you for listening to us. We will be back with the Great American Bash Part 2 next week here live on our YouTube. YouTube.com/upNXT is where you can find us as well. Happy Independence Day. Happy Canada Day. Happy whatever day you're celebrating. In these crazy times, take care of yourselves. Wash your hands.
Wear a mask.
Wear a mask.
Don't listen to Austin Aries. Don't listen to Loki. Listen to Canadians like Kevin Owens.
Canadians we're just nice. We're known for being nice people, so just maybe listen to us. We know what we're talking about. We really do. Sometimes we really do. So happy Canada Day. Take off, eh? Take off, you hoser.
Ahoy! All right.
Woo. Hello, YouTube.
Thank you
room.
very much, guys. People being very kind and friendly in the YouTube room tonight.
Yes. Don't ask Pollock about his office.
Yeah. Have you heard about this yet?
So, fill me in.
I'll tell you off air.
All right.
We'll talk about it.
I heard about it.
Yeah.
I heard about it. Heard the rumblings. We got to get an office space.
No.
Should we get one?
We don't make enough money.
Not yet. After this extreme month, people will join.
Yeah.
Thank you, YouTube room.
Okay, we're gonna log off now and edit this. Fuck it. I'm gonna leave you with the national anthem again.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much, guys. That was great fun. We'll see you next week. We'll have to think about how American we can be while still being respectful.
Why? They're not. Kidding.
And it's comments like that why we need to think about it.
And we're
Eric, thank you guys. Take care. Love ya.
Take